The theme for this month in January, and I think you'll kind of relate to this, is life is waiting for us. Goodness is waiting for us. Something better is waiting for us right now. And today's message is being who you are. Be a little bit of a challenge. Again, I said I don't know what brought us in here or online today, but we're all at different places in our experience because life is giving us different things than we've ever experienced. I'm sure some people aren't too happy with being alone on New Year's Eve, and some people probably were happy. I don't know. You know, and our Christmas was different, holidays are different, not being able to go out and do the things we usually do, driving by theaters that are empty. Love going to the movies. I mean, those things are different for us. But this morning we're going to start and we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate because not the resolutions that we've written, okay? How many people have written their resolutions? I mean, what do we write, right? We don't do that this year, but this is not the year to write resolutions. I think this is the year or step aside and be guided and let God write them for us. Because what we're celebrating and why what you're reading was this morning, Marianne was so perfect, is to be thankful that because we don't know what's going on, we don't know what's going to happen, we don't have the answers, things aren't clear now. God knows, life knows. There is an energy, a spirit, one mind, that is goodness and possibilities, that holds the answers, and that's what we're going to celebrate. And today, instead of taking control of our life and writing down every way we're going to change, be better, how we're going to do all this, we're going to take a step aside. At least that's my invitation, is to take a step aside and let the Spirit within guide us. As Marianne was saying, in the outside world, so often, you know, we've got things that can be distracting or difficult until we align with the truth of who we are. Now, this message isn't new. Now, okay, in 1959, this is from Ted Geisel. Anybody know who that is? Dr. Seuss, yes. Dr. Seuss wrote, "Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you." Now, it's interesting. Ted Geisel took the name Dr. Seuss. Well, Seuss was his mother's maiden name, but he became Dr. Seuss. But he was challenged. He wasn't just a children's author, but he was challenged by someone. He was writing for a comic magazine, I think, to write a book for children, because first, second, third graders at that time were just losing all interest in reading. And he was challenged with the task, hey, write a book less than 300 words that a first grader wouldn't put down. And he wrote Cat in the Hat. And of course it became a great success. Of all the 60 books he wrote, Green Eggs and Ham was his favorite. And Kirk and I, when our kids were growing up, had our fair share of Green Eggs and Ham. But anyway, we had to let the kids create. It was fun. But anyway, that's what he had the idea, wanting to inspire kids to know who they are, to get in touch with themselves and start being creative, let out those creative juices, because he recognized, being an illustrator, a poet, an artist, that creativity is really who we are. But we have to get in touch with our own unique expression of that creativity. It all isn't just art or music or singing or something we know as the arts or theater. It's our creative expression can come out in so many wonderful ways, and we have to use that. However, this idea of getting in touch with who you are is definitely not a new experience or a new question or a new calling or a new invitation. It's something that we can turn back time, a long time, until 4th century BC, give or take a few centuries, I'm not sure. Orphism was an ancient mystic Greek religion based on the teachings and songs and poems of Orpheus. Orpheus was a legendary musician and poet and a prophet in Greek mythology. And he had very strong feelings about humanity and how humanity could bring out the best in themselves. It was about a recognition, self-realization, self-awareness of who we are. And he said, humanity, and I mean, think how many years ago, thousands of years ago this was. Humanity is dual-natured. Humanity has a body, flesh, and humanity has a spirit. And we must look within to find the combination of those two things. Wow, that was how many years ago? Now, the Orphic tradition, some is known about it, but not a lot, until 1879 in southern Italy and Crete and Thessaly. They were digging and found some gold tablets, and you know, gold is a sustainable metal, so there were gold tablets written in ancient Greek, which had Orphic sayings, and this is one of them that hangs in the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles. And these Orphic sayings would tell about, I'm not sure how many they've found so far. They were found in graves, and they'd be in the graves of people. Sometimes they'd be holding these little metal, these gold tablets, or sometimes be found in their mouth, because you see, in ancient Mediterranean times, the underworld where people would go when they die was a bleak experience. So many people wanted to improve their life right then. I think many of us feel that way too, because we know wherever you go, there you are, so we might get better right now. But they found these sayings. So let me tell you what this one says. And it's an initiate speaking to a spring water. And it says, I am parched with thirst and perishing. The spring says, then come drink of me, the ever-flowing spring. On the right, white where the bright cypress is. Who are you, and where did you come from? The initiate, I am a child of earth and starry heaven, but my race is of heaven alone. I bring tears to my eyes, because it's so much like what Ernest Holmes says. I mean, how many thousands of years later, he says, we are, right here, right where we are the place where heaven and earth meet, the spiritual and the physical. That's who we are. Now, Wind had just a little bit of time, and Plato was also an ancient Greek philosopher. He was the student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle. Yet he's probably the best well-known because of his philosophical works that just really changed the thinking of the world and have lasted so long. But one of the maxims he used over and over again, know thyself. And he said that was an inward journey. Knowing our true self, our true nature, is a journey within that we have to take to find out who we are, why we're here, what's going on. And it's nothing that's happening out there. It's all the things that are happening in here. Ernest Holmes said the spiritual geniuses such as Moses and Buddha and Jesus and Emerson and all those others, whether they're ancient, medieval, or modern, all teach the same thing. The real journey of life is the self-discovery of what's inside. Ernest Holmes went on to say, and this is something else that makes me very emotional because it's so true, and if we only would teach our children and remember ourselves that the greatest thing we have, bar nothing, the greatest gift we have been given is the indwelling presence of God. And if we could own that and carry that with us and use that, that's what I'm saying, if we let that part of us reveal itself to us, that all-knowing presence, the one mind works through the human mind to express and create. Not just the human mind, through the human mind and body. To express, to create, that's us. That's not somebody else. That's who we are. We're the expression. So we have to get to the place where we understand who we really are. Being who we are, it gets confusing because, dang it, we've been stamped with this beautiful stamp of individuality. We're unique. We're different. We're different on the outside, you know, our gender, our sexual orientation, our race, the color of our skin, our whatever it is out here. We're different physically, but we're also different inside. And sometimes we love being unique and it's fun, but society wants us all to fit in, to be the same. And all the ads and the things we see out there, it's all about, this is the way you need to be, instead of being who you really are, as we heard in the song, standing in the light of awareness to be who we really, really, really are. And it takes work. We get so distracted. Man, you know, here's what I want to be. I want to be God expressing as love and creativity and grace and wisdom, but I get so distracted because I think, I wish I were that. I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I wasn't this. We get distracted and forget that that's what makes us special. We can't be all the things because we're part of a big, beautiful tapestry of life, and we need to fit in our own unique gifts and experiences and be asking, not, why am I not this? I wish I were that. We got to be asking, how can I use the gifts and the talents and the uniqueness that I've been imbued with right now? Just in your own mind, just say, you know, there's something in me that's more than I appear to be right now. I was born with it, and it's just waiting. It's waiting right here for my recognition of it. It's waiting inside me. It's not waiting inside someone else. This is mine and mine alone. It's what makes me unique. But in order to do that, we have to do a few things. First of all, we have to recognize that there is a power and presence within us. There's something within us. As Gretchen was singing about the light, we call it the divine spark. It's the spirit within us that's always there. It's never not there. You can't run somewhere and you leave your light over there. You can't drop it. Impossible. We can cover it up. We can forget about it. We can deny it. And you know what happens when we deny the light within us? It can't shine as bright because we have to co-create. Remember, we're divinely human. We need both of us. We need to be co-creators. So we can cover it up and ignore it, but our job is to kindle that spark, to remember it's there. So I'm going to give us a little challenge. Instead of those resolutions, I'm going to ask that we all take time every day to calibrate ourselves. To calibrate with the one mind, the one power, the indwelling spirit within, which means we need to breathe and go within. Because let me tell you something. The Bible tells us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Why is that? He, she, it. He, she, it. Everyone, always. We are what we think in our heart. Why is that true? Because that's the place where the two things meet. That's where God speaks to us. But the voice of God isn't really a voice saying, Court, do that. Now, this is the time. Doesn't say that. Bill, it's time for you to do this. Marianne, don't do this. You go this way. No, it doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. It's a soft, warm, pulsating feeling. We have to feel it. So we have to calibrate with that feeling every day. Now, sometimes that little feeling, we don't feel it because our human feelings, our untamed emotions, are taking us into far-off places. No! I think Mary Vavrick is the greatest cookie maker in the entire world. I just want to say that because I made cookies that weren't that good, and I worked really hard, and I should have called you Mary on an emergency basis, but I really was hard on myself. man, I spent a lot of time, I did everything, and what did I do? They came out to be fat gingerbread cookies. So I figured fat gingerbread cookies needed to be cooked longer than skinny gingerbread cookies. And it wasn't the truth. I guess fat gingerbread cookies cooked the same time as skinny ones, because they came out really hard. And Kirk loves gingerbread cookies. And so I spent all this time trying to make gingerbread cookies, and it was so fun, and cut them out. Oh, they were so cute, but they were hard. And I was so hard on myself, instead of just realizing I can make other gingerbread cookies. And it was a fun process. But we get so hard on ourselves. Those untamed emotions take over that spark of spirit that wants to work through us. So I'm going to ask us not only to take time to calibrate, because we need to re-educate those wild emotions that take off for stupid reasons, really. I mean, not very important things. Cookies can be replaced, but those emotions need to be tamed so we can keep hearing and having a dialogue with Spirit. Our dialogue is different than the monkey chatter in our minds. It's the dialogue that we can speak with that voice. We don't speak at it, but we can speak with, allowing the voice of Spirit to open. We need to open our minds and our hearts and purify to let that feeling come through. So no longer are we writing our resolution list. We're co-creating and asking, how can I use my gifts today? What emotions do I need to turn down so I can hear and feel the love of God and Spirit? Last week I had read, and I invited everyone to dance into the new year on the jeweled dance floor of Spirit, as Hafez, the Sufi mystic, says. We're all invited to God's party. All of us are invited guests. There's not a single person here that isn't an expression and a beautiful emanation of Spirit. We're invited. We're here on purpose. We aren't accidents. And I asked you to dance into the new year. Unfortunately, many had to dance alone, and that's okay, because that's where we tap into this. That's where we do our co-creative expression. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is a beautiful expression. Now, uniqueness doesn't mean uniformity. We're unified in our being here on this one dance floor of Spirit with this one mind. We're all on this dance floor together. We're in unity here, but we're unique expressions. When we realize, when we tap into Spirit, and I've said this many, many times because this is a vision I want all of us to hold, that we have one hand in the hand of God. And we just consciously, you don't just need to raise your hand and walk around like this, of course, but just consciously put that hand, a welcome, an invitation. I'm ready, I'm here, I am available. I'm available to be in dialogue. I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Have one hand stretched like that, up to Spirit, so you can open this place where we hear in that soft feeling. That's where we're hearing with our feelings. We're hearing the message. And then we stretch out and we give and share our gifts with humanity. That's what we're here to do. We are here to be the co-creative partners with Spirit and with each other. So this is the birthday of a new year. So I'm going to invite you right now. Put your feet on the floor. Unravel your arms and legs and be open. Open that mind and open the heart. Right here now, not later in this moment. Just open to the best of your ability in this moment. As we declare and claim this, a time for us to let the angels of our better self lift us out of the concern and the worry and the confusion of whatever's going on in our life, the pain, the grief, the hurt of loss, whatever it is, to feel the love of the angels and the Spirit of God as it lifts us to a greater awareness, a greater knowing that we are here on purpose. We are growing and changing as the unique and special beings that we are right here and right now. There's a place in us, a spark of light, of love, of wisdom, of goodness, of possibility within us now, in this moment, that is waiting our recognition and our opening to it. And I know for each of us, as we enter into this new year, we do so with an attitude of gratitude that God knows. God knows the possibility, the answer. And for us, we keep that the affirmative consciousness. And when we say I am, we say I am unique, I am original, I am brilliant, I am loved, I am loving, I am goodness expressing, all of those things right now. That is our prayer, our affirmation, our knowing, that we release what we no longer need and expand into the newness of what is waiting for us. And in that consciousness, we are grateful as we release it to that infinite mind of goodness, that version of our greater self. We release it and know that we are prepared for it and are guided into that new expression of who we are. We remember, we say thank you, God, and so it is. I wish you all a wonderful new year. We'll be dancing together soon, I know that. I love you all, and I feel the love in return. Thank you so much.